Chrisley reveals why he's done with booze. Hello, everyone. Welcome back for another video. I hope everyone's having a great day. Before watching the video, please subscribe and like it. Chrisley has revealed why he is done with booze. This was a hard decision for him to make. However, he had to do it for the well-being of himself and his close relationships with him. Chase has dove deep and let everyone know why he had to get sober and how that inspired him to make his new non-alcoholic seltzer. There is a lot to unfold and uncover when it comes to this. Keep reading to find out more about this situation. Chrisley arrested for assault. Chrisley was arrested a few months ago. He was arrested for assault and battery. He supposedly got into it with a manager at a bar he was at. The cops picked him up after he had already left the bar. This was embarrassing for him and not what he wanted to portray himself as whatsoever. Soon after this, he announced that he was sober. However, a lot led him to make his new non-alcoholic seltzer that he is getting ready to release. Fans are glad that he is doing this for himself. However, he is also doing it for the people around him. He has revealed why he is done with booze. Chrisley has revealed why he is done with booze. Fans do not blame him. However, it was a big step for him to recognize this. It's been in the making for quite some time, honestly. Obviously, I've had my difficulty and my struggle with alcohol. It makes the highs, and it makes the lows, lower. I think that going through what we went through with my family, and then my personal journey and my struggles, it's time for me just to put alcohol down. We just don't agree with each other. People understand where Chase is coming from. However, fans are excited to try his new drink, Gold Drop. It seems as though Chase and alcohol do not agree with each other. He had to give it up because it was not good for him or his relationships. Fans are proud of Chrisley for making this decision, as some know it is not an easy one to make. However, fans are also loving the seltzer and cannot wait to try it, as some are living a sober lifestyle as well. What do you think about this? Are you proud of Chase for being sober? Sound off in the comments below. We would love to hear your thoughts on this situation. Chrisley has never been shy about living his life in the public eye. Growing up as part of the famous Chrisley family, he became a familiar face on reality television through the hit series Chrisley Knows Best, and later on in his own spin-offs and public appearances, fans watched him grow from a rebellious teenager into a young man navigating adulthood under the constant scrutiny of fame. Now Chase is taking a powerful step forward in his personal journey by opening up about a decision that many didn't see coming. He's officially done with alcohol, and for the first time he's revealing the deeply personal reasons why it's a turning point that has fans talking. And it might just be one of the most courageous choices he's ever made. The news came during a raw and emotional interview where Chase sat down without filters or rehearsed lines, just an open heart and a desire to share his truth. He explained that while his lifestyle may have looked glamorous from the outside with fancy cars, flashy clothes, and high-profile parties, behind the scenes he was struggling with something much more serious, something that began to eat away at his peace and cloud his sense of purpose. Chase said that alcohol became a way to numb himself, a way to escape the pressures, the pain, and the confusion that came with growing up in a spotlight that never dims at first. He didn't think it was a problem, just a drink here and there, a way to relax or fit in with a crowd that expected a certain kind of image. But over time, the drinks became more frequent, the hangovers more brutal, and the guilt heavier than ever. He began to notice changes in his mood, in his relationships, and in his ability to truly show up for himself and the people he loved. The turning point he shared came on a night that started like any other, surrounded by friends, music, and too many drinks, but ended with him alone, staring at himself in a mirror, unable to recognize the person looking back. It was a moment of deep reflection and painful honesty. And in that silence, Chase made a decision to reclaim his life, his health, and his clarity. He said it wasn't easy at all. The social pressure, the fear of judgment, the mental battles that came with changing something so deeply ingrained into his routine. It was all overwhelming, but something inside him had shifted, And once he saw the truth, he couldn't unsee it. Chase made a quiet promise to himself that he would get help not because anyone told him to, but because he knew he deserved better. He talked about seeking support from close friends, from professionals, which he says has become the cornerstone of his sobriety journey. He credits prayer, meditation, and daily discipline as key tools that help him stay grounded and focused on his goals. Since making the choice to quit alcohol, Chase says his life has changed in ways he never imagined. His mind is clearer, his energy is stronger, and perhaps most importantly, his relationships are healthier. He's had tough conversations with friends and family, some of whom were surprised and even skeptical about his choice, but he stood firm in his truth, explaining that this wasn't about judgment or shame. It was about growth and survival. He said his relationship with his sister, Savannah Chrisley, has grown stronger as a result, and they've had some of the most honest conversations of their lives in recent months. He even opened up about how quitting alcohol has helped him face old wounds and begin healing from things he used to bury deep under the surface, including the pain of public criticism, the trauma of family legal battles, and the confusion of trying to find his identity outside of reality TV. He admitted that for a long time he felt like a character playing a role designed by producers and publicists and expectations, but now he's choosing to rewrite that script and show up as his authentic self. Flaws and all. Chase also touched on how the decision has impacted his romantic life. In the past, he said he often used alcohol as a social crutch, something that made it easier to connect, flirt, or avoid intimacy. Now he's learning how to be present in relationships, how to communicate more clearly, and how to build bonds that aren't based on the haze of a night out, but on real connection and trust. He shared that he's not currently dating anyone seriously, but he's more health as much as he does. Fans who have followed Chase for years are responding with overwhelming support, flooding his social media with messages of encouragement, admiration, and gratitude. Many are sharing their own sobriety journeys and thanking him for using his platform to speak about something that's often stigmatized or misunderstood, especially among young men in the spotlight who are expected to live fast and party harder. Chase says the outpouring of love has been one of the most humbling parts of the journey, and it's only deepened his commitment to staying sober and using his voice for good. He even hinted at the possibility of launching a podcast or online series where he can talk more openly about mental health, addiction, and self-discovery, not just his own, but through conversations with others who are walking similar paths. His goal, he said, is to create a space where people feel seen, heard, and supported no matter where they are in their journey. Looking ahead, Chase says he's not trying to be perfect or pretend like he has all the answers. He still has hard days, moments of doubt, and the occasional temptation, but he's learning how to navigate those moments with grace and resilience, leaning on his faith, his support system, and the lessons he's learned along the way. He said sobriety isn't just about quitting drinking. It's about choosing clarity over chaos, presence over avoidance, and love over fear. It's about waking up every day with a sense of purpose and going to bed with peace in your heart. And that's the kind of life he's fighting for. Chase knows that not everyone will understand his decision, and that some will judge or question his motives. But he's okay with that because he's no longer living for approval or applause. He's living for truth, for freedom, and for the chance to build a future that's honest and whole. He hopes that by sharing his story, someone else out there will feel less alone, less ashamed, and more empowered to make the changes they need to live a fuller life. And as for what's next, Chase says he's excited to keep growing, learning, and creating. He's been exploring new business ventures, working on personal projects, and dreaming big about what a sober, creative life might look like without the noise and distraction of the party scene. He feels more connected than ever to his purpose and more inspired than ever to help others do the same. Chase Chrisley's revelation about quitting booze isn't just a headline, it's a wake-up call, a powerful reminder that real strength comes not from perfection, but from the courage to choose better and keep showing up for yourself every single day. And in that choice, Chase is not just transforming his own life, but inspiring countless others to believe that healing is possible, that change is within reach, and that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is say enough and start again with open hands and a clear heart. The This is not the end of Chase's story. It's the beginning of a new chapter, one built on truth, resilience, and the quiet power of choosing your own path, no matter how hard it gets. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, America Trends 24, and stay with us.